So Adolis is to us what Altuve is to the Yankees. You ever think about that? Brother, we are not in a position to chirp the Yankees or the Rangers right now. I hate to break it to you. Hi, I'm Weston. I love talking about the Astros, and I'm here to talk about Game 8 of the regular season where the Astros lose 10-0 to the Texas Rangers in the first game of this weird, convoluted Friday through Monday series against the Texas Rangers. And I hear what you're saying following that opening statement of, Weston, the game was actually 10-2. Good for Jake Myers. That's super cool for him. I'm happy for him. He had a 2-run home run. That should count in his hit column and his on-base column and his slugging column and his home run column for counting those up at the end of the year, and the RBIs. Those should all count for Jake Myers. They shouldn't count at all for the team. They didn't do anything. They lost 10-0. And Jake Myers made it look like you have an idea of how to score. Good for him. Thank you, Jake. You come up clutch, bud. Did a good. 10-0. Hunter Brown stunk. Gave up 5 runs. Really not good night for him. I like Hunter Brown. I will emphasize that. I think at the moment he's probably who you put in the bullpen when Verlander comes back. He's getting close, like really close. Like it's like, oh man, he actually is going to come back from the injury. That's crazy that a pitcher can just come back from the injury that he's scheduled to come back from. Cool. Please don't throw those words back into my face as I say that aloud. But like he's actually going to come back, and the way Blanco pitched in the first game, yeah, it's Hunter Brown's the one that you put in the bullpen. No question about it. Like, absolutely no question. Dude, it was awful. He looked very not good this evening. You had Brandon Bielak come in and gave up 5 runs, which sucked, but, you know, just, I don't know, man. It's Brandon Bielak. Like, we're accustomed to it at this point. He is, as he always has been, he's a pitcher that you're going to put out when a game is pretty much already decided. I wish the game hadn't been decided after like 4 innings in this one, but you know, it just kind of was. Really, it was decided after like, what, the 2nd inning? Awful. And the offense doing nothing again. I want to get the actual number up. This will only make me irritated when I look at, you know what? Not bad. At least you only left 3 runners aboard. That tends to happen when you only get, what, 5 base runners all night? Hey, small victories, am I right? And I know, here's the thing that has set me off on all the games I got excited about. Because if you recall, I was displeased when they got killed by the Blue Jays. Right? Here's the distinction, because I was pretty level-headed following the first 2 Yankees losses, and I would say I was pretty somewhat level-headed. I said it was on brand and kind of funny following that Toronto Blue Jays loss. Here's why in game 3 and 4 of that Yankee series, so game 3 and 4 of the season, and why this game I am really, really mad about. What absolutely sets me off. Like, these aren't, I understand that the best team in baseball is probably going to lose 60 games. Or really close to that. 55 plus. The best team in the sport. I understand that teams lose a bunch of games. I've talked about seasons where the Astros won the freaking World Series and discussed about 60 losses. That happened. Like, recently. And I've talked about a series where they've gone to the World Series and talked about how they've lost, like, 95 games. And I talked about a season where they lost more games than they won. I am aware of how losing works. I am aware that, you're living game by game. The 2 of these series are so important because the Astros and Yankees have been 2 of the juggernauts in the American League for the past few years. And it feels like every season they're facing each other in the postseason. Like, every year, it's Astros and Yankees. That's just the road you have to go through. Is one of the 2 of them, and you put out that awful, stinky performance where you look dead, and you just keep blowing leads to them. And this game, this is the one that I think might be the worst. Because it's the team that you are, at this point, probably the biggest rival with. Right? They just won the World Series. How'd they get to that World Series, you might be asking yourself? Oh, why don't you remember? By winning 4 games in your house to beat you in the ALCS, where they got to celebrate in Minute Maid Park winning the pennant. And you have the offseason to marinate, and you come back against them, and you get beat by 8. You got beat by 10, but then faked it to make it look like you only lost by 8. This isn't... Like, here's the thing. Yeah, you're going to lose a crap ton of games. I'm aware of that. This isn't some random game in June against the Padres. It's not some middle-of-the-week nothing series in July against the Rockies. It's against a team who you are, if you want to say that you were a playoff team and a team that's going to threaten for the division, a team you're going to have to beat quite a few times, a team you're going to be dealing with a lot this season, a team that you're going to be eyeing in the standings for the entire season, and the team that, I can't emphasize this enough, just knocked you out of the playoffs a year ago! Not even! Like, what, 6 months ago? Recently! And you can't get up for that game. You can't even make that game competitive. That's the part about it that gets me. You lose it 8-7, that sucks. Showed fight. You lose that game in a low-scoring nail-biter, 3-2, I probably would have had my complaints about it, but you know what? Sucks. Held tight. I would have probably talked about, hey, the pitching did a good job. What do you want me to talk about? They gave up 10 runs, and they scored 2 in the 8th inning. I understand that teams lose. I understand that you're going to lose a lot of stinker games. You can't get absolutely just curb-stomped, teeth knocked out in the first game of the season against your biggest rival in the division and debatably your biggest rival in the league. American League. It's just... it's insane. It's insulting, borderline, that that's the performance they go out and put on. Like, that's what you can muster? That's it? Like, this is a very, very similar team. It's the exact same team, in fact. Like, up and down the lineup, Altuve, Dubon, Alvarez, Singleton, Tucker, Bregman, Kessinger, Diaz, McCormick, Abreu, Pena, Myers. That was the starting team in the ALCS last year, or at least some variation of it. All you're missing is Maldi. But that's it. Belak, Martinez, both pitched in that series. Hunter Brown pitched in that series. All of them had reason to want to go out tonight and win, and they, theoretically, and lose by 8. Really, you lose by 10. Like, it's just not it. That's certainly one way to spend a Friday night. They play tomorrow night in the second game of the series. 7:05 Eastern, 6:05 Central. The Astros are going to send JP France to the mound. Fresh off the paternity list. Good for JP France. Rangers are going to send Sonny Gray. Don't make me have to come back following another stupid, embarrassing loss. Just, please, don't make me do it. I'll be here afterwards to talk about that game tomorrow night. But as for right now, that's all I have. So if you enjoyed the video, please consider to like and subscribe. Thank you all so very much for watching. I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic day, and as always, go Astros.